Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here on some of my favorite filming spots because guess what? I want to bring you more of this car right next to me. This is it. This is that new 2026 Dodge Charger SIXPACK with the six-pack underneath the hood. But before we just dive in, let's talk about what's going on here. So one thing I want to do with this car especially is try to create some extra content for you and basically do some four-wheel therapy where we're going to talk about some of the big topics with this car. Now, because it is all new and it's not a Hemi V8, I think a lot of people still have questions. What is it like to drive? Will I be happy driving it? And is it complicated when you're behind the wheel to activate and deactivate certain functions? So what I want to do is I want you to be my passenger, as you normally are, but this time what we're going to do is we're going to really take a look at what is it like to live with a Dodge Charger SIXPACK six-pack and see if you're going to be happy with it. Why don't we go ahead, let's dive in or jump in and go for a spin. All right, guys, I've strapped myself in behind the driver's seat. Hopefully you're strapped in just as well in the passenger seat, right in shotgun. But this is going to be the view that you are going to have basically living with this Dodge Charger SIXPACK six-pack on a regular basis. And I wanted to start from step one, firing up the Charger SIXPACK. Now, what's nice is that the key fob looks fantastic. I mean, it's got the Dodge name on it. It's carbon fiber. You got your remote start. So that's a really nice touch. And then you're just going to fire off the engine by hitting that start stop button right behind the shifter. Love the way it says six-pack on that 16-inch dash. And then you have your infotainment system, that 12.3 inch. Now, before you go anywhere, you could take some time and go through and set it up exactly the way you want it. So I don't want to have the navigation there. I could bring up my gauges all by toggling with my thumb on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. On the right-hand side of the steering wheel, you're really not going to be using any of that unless you're on the highway, because that's for your cruise control and your adaptive cruise. Down below, you have your drive modes. And then on the back of the wheel, you have these small, sad paddles. They're very small, even smaller than the previous generation Charger, and they're made out of plastic. And then to complicate things even more, you have buttons behind the wheel that can control the audio, tuning, and volume if you want to adjust that without taking your hands off the wheel. That's a little too much. I like the drive modes. I could do without the audio controls on the back. Remember, it's an electric tilting and telescoping wheel. And when you go into your different modes, you're just going to tap either left or right. When you go into sport mode, which I'm sure is the mode that many people are going to prefer to drive in, what happens is that those digital sort of traditional round gauges disappear, and now you have a tachometer along the bottom on each side. You can then take your thumb and go through certain functions like vehicle information. There's a cornucopia of different gauges that you can put very easily. Or you could go into different timers and whatnot. I mean, lots of different information to choose from, and Dodge has always been good about that. We have our 10-inch head-up display, which changes depending on what mode you're in. And then when it comes to navigation, I do like the fact that they've kind of pulled out where your ventilated seats are and where your heated seats are. I also like the way you have a real physical volume knob, and you also have your controls for your AC, the dual climate control. Now, to make any adjustments performance-wise, you're going to hit the apps, and then this allows you to bring up all different ways of making changes to your Charger. One of the things that I like right off the bat, of course, is going to be performance pages. And this is where you could bring up all sorts of information, especially the gauges. I like the way they've expanded the amount of gauges that we have. Now, when it comes to some of the other options, like the race options, that's going to include your line lock and your launch control. And what's nice is it's very easy to set where you want that launch control to hit RPM wise. To be honest with you, just leave it at 3,200 RPM if you have the all-wheel drive activated. You could then also turn on your shift lights and do your smoky burnout with your line lock. And then we could go right back into apps and see what else is available. Like I said, that attitude adjustment lighting, we can go into vehicle. That brings up all your audio controls. And then we're right back to home. So nice short reach, easy to get to, and just really makes sense how they have it set up in here. Even the cameras, 360-degree cameras, you could pull up very, very easily. And you could even pull those up while you're driving. I'll show you that when we're going down the road. But I do like how easy it is to use this Uconnect 5 system, especially with things like the ambient lighting and everything. Really kind of helps with bringing a nice extra high-end touch and feel in here. But we're going to go ahead and let's do performance pages. And then we're going to back out of our spot here. Now backing up, nice large digital rear view mirror there for your infotainment system. You got your 360, and this is going to allow you to be able to back out of your spot, whether you're at your apartment, your house, the store, and just really be able to have a nice bird's eye view. Pulling out onto the road, one thing you're going to notice right away is how nice the interior is. It's very well laid out. You have wireless charging, you have storage places, you got that nice muscle car bulge, and then you also have all the safety technology as well. So they got you covered there. Visibility is great if somebody's walking in the road. I actually paid that lady $20 to do that, just to show how good the visibility is. And then going back into our apps, you can see how you can pull up the cameras while you're driving. That to me is worth its weight in gold. Now it doesn't stay up the whole time, but at least it stays up for a good amount of time while you're driving, so that you don't curb any of those pretty wheels or anything like that. Now, depending on what mode you're in, is going to adjust things like the throttle sensitivity, steering sensitivity, and how the 3-liter Hurricane engine, that twin turbo straight 6, behaves with the Torque Flight 8-speed automatic. I'm gonna go back into sport mode, and then we're gonna go on throttle here. Going through all the modes. You even have a wet snow mode. Are you ready? On throttle, here we go. Nice fast shifts. The 8-speed is paired very nicely with the 3-liter straight 6 twin turbo, that 550 horsepower, over 500 pound-feet of torque, and we have all-wheel drive. So when you pull out into traffic, you could just get on it and go and merge and not have to worry about any kind of tire slippage or losing grip because of that great all-wheel drive. Seats are comfortable. They're more adjustable than they ever were on the previous generation. Brakes feel good. Very, very balanced. The car is even though it weighs around 4,800 pounds, they did a good job balancing how the suspension is tuned and the feedback that you get. So that's the good news. The bad news is like I said, I know a lot of people want their Hemi V8. But I think you're gonna be very impressed with not only how this car looks, because it does look freaking good, but also how it drives and how easy it is to drive. Even if you're new to this performance car segment. Like I said, this has never been a replacement for the Hemi V8. I've said that in other reviews. This is in addition to. But all the controls are very easy to get to, whether it be your turn single stock, your windshield wipers, you're actually just gonna twist the knob and they come on very easily. And then I'm gonna take you down this road to show you how launch control works. I think that's one of the things that's nice is once you get the hang of the Uconnect 5 infotainment system, it's actually very easy to go through the functions. Because that's the thing is, if you're gonna have a lot of new tech, or maybe tech that's new to you, it'd be nice if it's easy to operate. It's like, what's the point of having something if you don't even know how to turn it on or shut it off? Now, you will get some sound from the exterior, of course, exhaust-wise, but they do try to balance it out with some sound on the interior as well to kind of help with the overall sound of this vehicle. Now, I'm going to come to a complete stop. To do launch control, you have to be at a complete stop. You're going to put your left foot on the brake, and then you're going to hit the button where it says activate launch control. It's lit up green. Tells you to apply brake pressure, throttle, hold it, release. There we go. Nice. So that's going to give you basically a 0 to 60 time of around 3.8 seconds, which is very, very respectable for this car, especially with it weighing 4,800 pounds. Dodge really wanted to show you that they find what's most important is the information for the driver, and that's why you have a optional 16-inch digital gauge cluster, and then you have the 12.3-inch infotainment system, because information for the driver is more important than anything that's coming up over here. You could even, if you wanted to, pull up your AC controls on the screen if you don't want to operate any of the buttons. And then, like I said, when it comes to drive modes, since we're in sport mode, this is when you could put the car in rear-wheel drive. Now, to put the car in rear-wheel drive, you have to be at a complete stop like we are, and you must be in sport mode. So I'm going to hit that, and then now we are just rear-wheel drive. So you get to choose how you want that power delivery, and if you want something that's more traditional muscle car performance, then you could have it on your rear-wheel drive. But like I said, to turn it on or off, you must be at a complete stop. But does it feel larger than a Mustang? Yes, it does. But so did the previous generation Charger, so that shouldn't be that big of a surprise to you. The best news is using this as a daily driver, you're gonna have all that usable cargo space to take advantage of over not just the previous generation of this car, but also over the Mustang GT. But they really nailed the comfort setup in here very, very easily. I want to show you how easy it is to park this thing. I know that's on a lot of people's minds is, you know, because of especially the bulge in the hood, you really can't tell where the front of the car is. But you can pull up those cameras, and once you get the hang of it, I think you're gonna easily be able to realize where the dimensions of this car is. But having the head-up display gives you a perfect view of all the important information. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull into this parking lot so I could show you how easy it is to park this thing. And yes, you could back it in if you want to, but doing it the regular style way is just fine as well. So I'll park it next to this Hyundai Palisade. Piece of cake. And it actually tells you, so you actually have sensors 360 around the car to let you know when you're getting close. At first it lights up green then it's a yellow, and then red is obviously like, hey, watch out, you're really gonna mess something up. But that's how easy it is to drive this vehicle. The shifter is at a good placement, and you don't do anything with it besides shift. There's no manual shifting with the shifter itself. You could put it in low gear, and that's about it. But other than that, very easily laid out. But I'm hoping that this type of what is it like to live with this car when you're behind the wheel, and show you the different things that you can do. Like I just shut off the rear wheel drive. I could bring up the AC controls. I could also go home where you have access to your Sirius XM and to your navigation. It is one of those vehicles that allows you to have all this great accessibility of technology. Look at all the leaves there. Somebody needs to start raking those and sweeping those up. Ain't gonna be me. But hopefully this helped you with your decision, whether you want to pull the trigger on one of these Chargers. We're gonna get back to where it all started and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys. It's one of those things. I love to bring you more of certain cars, especially when it's something all new, just like this peel out colored Charger SIXPACK 6-pack. But we, of course, have to thank everybody at Dodge for giving us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. Did you enjoy being behind the wheel with me in this Charger? And would you want to add this to your garage as your regular daily driver? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise family. Gotta give up to Stephen Flood. You know, he's down for anything. And even though the signs over here say watch out for alligators, he doesn't give a damn. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.